For Bunnings Homegrown Heroes, the mahi never stops. Nominate the unsung heroes in your touch community that go above and beyond. They could win $5,000 to invest into the sport we love. Nominate today.
Tiruhia mai, are taringa mai, whakarawika mai, ki tēnei whakapāhotanga, atu I takanini, I tāmiki makaurau ko tēnei, te whakataitai āmotu, mō nā tima, kua eke ki te taumata, ko Harley Wōtoku Ingoa, Māua ko Maya Williams, nā kai whakapāho o tēnei rā, o tēnei wikene hoki, a ko tēnei te whakataitai āmotu, 2025 Bunnings National Touch Championships, broadcasting live from Tāmaki Makoto. We're about to get underway for our second live stream game of today, which is the Open Men's semi-final between Waikato and Auckland. Maya, we just had an awesome first semi-final, first live stream game. What did you think of that, and how do you think this next game's going to go?
Told you I was super excited this morning, and we seeing why in that first game. Harbour coming out, getting that first touchdown, but then Nelson pretty much dominating it for the next 30 minutes, and it wasn't until that last 10 minutes where Harbour really strung some great individual efforts together, scoring 5 out of the last 6 touchdowns and then getting over the top of Nelson. So absolutely what you'd expect in a semi-final. And this one, I just think it's going to go up a notch. And it's simply the physicality that you'll see in this game, having had the opportunity to ref both touch and rugby. I'm telling you, there's collisions in this sport. It's not just a contact sport, it's a collision sport in this grade. You look down Auckland's team and you're seeing players such as Law, Tuta, Kurukanga, Kake, Ropati, Broadhurst, like there's just so many guns. Then you look over on the Waikato side and you realise this is like the New Zealand squad, and they've just split it up into 3 and 2 of the parts are here. So it's yes, they're going to be playing for Auckland, they're going to be playing for the team, they're going to be playing for themselves, but there's also that competition between the New Zealand Open Men's squad players. I have no doubt that, you don't like to lose to your enemy, but losing to your best mate's even worse. So there's a lot on this game, and I have no doubt it will be a step up from the awesome game we just seen.
Tikara au kōrero for Auckland and Waikato. Of course, everything's on the line. They've already played each other earlier on this weekend. Auckland getting the win in that game and taking perhaps a little bit of bragging rights into this first semi-final. But of course, as we've seen in earlier games and as we know from past experiences, the past results don't mean anything. It's about who can turn up and who can lift to another level when it comes time for semi-finals. Kua timata, te waiata rua miniti. He tohu tērā, ākua ke nei timata ai tēnei kemu. We're going to have a look now at some of the team lists.
We got the Waikato team list up there, Harley, but I think the big difference between what they did earlier in the competition and the result for Auckland is when you take Tian McIntyre out of any team, that is as good as Auckland are and as many guns as they've got in their team. He's at just a different level, isn't he? He's got the type of game that not many have, and so you take that out, you take a huge part of the strength, one of the big bullets in that Auckland team out. So I think that evens things up a lot more straight away. Not wanting to miss our referees, this crew of referees, the three highest ranked referees in the country at this tournament, and therefore in the country we got John Dusto, Logan Forrester and Richie Heap. Really experienced crew, led by John Dusto, number 1 referee in the world, and that's awesome for him. And these three, as they head their build-up towards the Trans-Tasman at the end of April.
Tikara, of course, this is semi-final. We'll likely see them later on in the Open Men's final. I believe based on how things fell with regards to rankings, we spoke about that earlier on. Not just a big occasion for the teams and the players, but also for our kaiwawau, our referees.
We just seen there, I talked about that rivalry within the rivalry because we see those two players. We had Finn Barnett and Sean Law with their handshake. Opposition players probably won't be directly opposite each other at times, but it's cool to see Auckland tap us off in the semi-finals for the Open Men's Grade Bunnings Warehouse 2025 National Championships Most teams have come out and scored straight away. Be interesting to see if Auckland can do the same. Down the short side, does he beat him to the line? He sure does. Referee Dusto right on the spot. How many times have we seen touchdowns this season scored at the feet of the defender?
Not just that, but also off the first set. And we can see here just excellent space timing and a wonderful dive there from Pōkaya o Kurukanga. Ka timata tika tēnei ki emu. That's the first try of the game for Auckland.
Unfortunately, Caleb Wright just losing the line. You see him there about a foot behind it. And that's all it takes. We've seen yesterday how this game is not a matter of inches, but a matter of blades of grass. Well defended there. Crazy combination here with Jones working with Hotham. Probably played more touch together than most other people have played touch in their whole life. Not coming to that one, unfortunately, for Waikato. Expecting this to stay relatively close, though, Harley. I imagine you'd be thinking the same. You wouldn't expect either of these teams to get out by more than 3, maybe not even out by 3.
I think 1 is probably the kind of game we can anticipate as something that's going to go back and forth, back and forth. The key to me is who can defend, particularly this middle of the field. We know that both teams can score tries, particularly when they're given opportunities within the 7 metres, but it's about, just like we saw there, trying to slow down and stop them in that orange zone area. I think that's going to determine who's going to win this game.
We had the privilege of watching the Auckland versus Canterbury Open men's game yesterday, and one of the comments I made was around the body language of the Auckland team. Well, it's significantly different here. We talk about being up on the toes, but more around the comms between each other, the noise coming out of the sub-box. They've very much taken this game a whole lot differently, as you would expect, naturally it being a semi-final. But it just goes to show yesterday, probably weren't firing on all cylinders.
We see here this time Auckland moving away from their sub-box, something different we haven't seen, or at least we didn't see yesterday. Their new players are coming in. Now we can see Manaia King making some massive metres up the field on 5th touch as Alden Kake looking to team up with Kurukanga. There's some space here in the middle. And a repeat set has been granted to Auckland.
Yeah, it's good to see something different for Auckland. Whether it worked for them, I'm not sure, going to that side, but it just throws a different picture at the defence so they don't just fall back into what normally happens. Auckland though with a fresh set and Kurukanga on. He scored the first one and now he scored the second one. He gives an extra look, looks down. At the defender, we look him here, looks down and just goes, yep, I just owned you.
A wee slip there for Shan Tōmuru. He just missed a opportunity to take that one away, in Auckland 2-0 to start this game off. Flying start to the set. Now E4 Jones, of course, one of the most dangerous players in the world. Can't give him too much space.
Shannon Tōmuru will not like that. One of the lockdown defenders in our country. I'm sure there's a bit of interest in this game across the Tasman there, Harley, with the Trans-Tasman coming up down in Christchurch.
Yeah, you would assume so. I think there's only so much you can take from games like this. Although there's a lot of experienced players on the paddock, my assumption is that players certainly still play within their systems that they have provincially. So the offering, although you can, I guess, grasp a few bits and pieces from how they perform as individuals, ultimately the picture we see here is very different to what you'd see at a Trans-Tasman level.
Yeah, maybe on a structural perspective, yep, it'll be a little bit different in terms of how the New Zealand team play, but I think as an individual, knowing their strengths, the skill set that they have, you talked about E4, definitely in terms of that low game that he has, so knowing defensively who to watch out for, but look, they've played against each other for many, many years now. Another tactical ploy from a defensive team when their structure has just been broken down. Happy to give away a penalty. Again, just being beaten. We've had no rain this week. We've had no rain this weekend, so it's not because it's slippery. We're just watching the replay here, Harley. Defender just trying to man up, maybe. He his front foot. He almost went back to his right as if he was going to man up. Just needed to take care of job one before going into job two.
It's funny, we mentioned at the start of the game, we thought, maybe 1 try, 2 try would be the most. We can see Auckland have already shot out 3 try lead here.
And they haven't really dominated them on a structural level. They've just seen deficiencies on an individual basis against the defender. Not sure what happened here, Ali, in this corner.
A bit of finger pointing between Auckland defenders. It looks like they both missed the touch here on Avion Jones. It just gets on the outside of Broadhurst, or perhaps the referee's call was offside. I think, regardless, the try has been given for Waikato. 3 tries to 1 is our current score.
Auckland will be gutted from that. They'd completely taken all momentum in this game for the first 5.5 minutes, getting 3 touchdowns, relatively easy too. Waikato, for their own confidence, needing to hit back, but again, not much on. It just seems to be more like one-on-one, and Auckland are winning those battles.
We saw a very similar game plan in the previous game, where individual brilliance prevailed, and Auckland are showing what they can do on an individual level here. That's Harry Carter getting on the outside of the Waikato defender there, Cruz Walters, to extend Auckland's lead back to 3.
It's pretty awesome to see Auckland, from what we've seen yesterday, 3 or 4 levels above. What are their tries being scored in the middle of the field? And what I mean by that is inside the wingers for Auckland. So they haven't broken the defence down to the point where they've been able to throw long. Just those one-on-one battles that they're winning at the moment. The coach like Mitta, though, the ability, the knowledge, the experience to be able to fix things up on the fly, and having the cattle that can do that also. Waikato will be a little bit shell-shocked, do you think?
I think so. It's certainly not coming as simple to them on attack, rather, let alone how much they've had to deal with or try to contain when they're on defence. A bit uncharacteristic, them seeming so disconnected defensively, so let's see if they can make up for it. Still a lot of time left in this game, but a great lift there from Mania King to take that one away from Waikato. No easy tries at this end of the field is what Auckland are saying. Yeah,
even that didn't have the polish that we'd normally see it. That sweeper player drifting out too wide, almost running all the way over to the shutter, as opposed to stepping back in towards E4. Auckland, though, the body language-wise, just look at their intent, the comms coming out of their box, the energy in their box. Waikato at the moment, a little bit of just arms dangling, absorbing what has just happened. Nice set of D, though, being able to stop Auckland without them really getting close to the attacking line.
Auckland really playing connected. They seem to all know their role really well. This is better now from Waikato. Go forward is what they need. And hopefully they can find a really nice pick here off the back of this. Looking towards the left-hand side. It was the pass okay. The winger looks happy with it, but the referees say drop. Trey Poihipi doesn't agree with the referees on that one.
Here we get the replay. Get to see, as you talked about, you just can't force the ball down. You need to, excellent call there from referee Forrester. At no stage did the player have possession of the ball prior to it touching the ground. Defensively through this orange zone, Waikato have definitely picked up what they're doing. They understand the threat that Auckland are down on that attacking end, aren't they? So the best way to stop them from being able to attack is to stop them from getting down that end.
Feels like they've also picked up their comms, and equally too, so have the referees. So now we're 10 minutes into the game. We're past the first quarter. It's really time to put the foot down on that pedal, and we see Waikato working that way now. Let's see if they can get E4 Jones a nice setup off the back of this. Well, they don't need E4. He was just sitting there passive in the pocket. The ball goes straight from the right to left over to Trey Poihupu, who finishes the job on this one.
Yeah, no doubt about the possession and put down. He won't score too many easier. You took the words out of my mouth with regards to the referees. And when a referee crew ref like this, and what they're refereeing is they're not allowing things, they're not just letting teams away with things. The management through that proactive communication is ensuring they're onside, ensuring that the attacking team has the space. They're playing their greatest advantage, so we've seen a real limited number of penalties. Now, what that does in terms of the game dynamics, there's a lot less stop-starts. So we'll get to see physically which team's in the best shape, who's the fittest. It's a different dynamic when a referee team refs the game in this way, really adds to it. Definitely picked up their defence, particularly through that orange zone. Have the Waikato team definitely a lot more like we're used to seeing from them.
Yeah, certainly, and perhaps it just comes off the back of leadership. We know that they've got some key drivers on attack, and we can see some of them on the field now, the Jones brothers and Hotham here. But equally, great touch there from Auckland. That's Sean Law. That's trademark Sean Law, working hard, making the tough touches. Where I was leading to is now they've found some leadership defensively as well. And will not give Auckland anything easy from here out, I'm sure.
Hear the comms in terms of telling each other to hold, and then after the touch to go release out, chasing out, shutting down that play on that right-hand side attacking-wise. Better yards, nice extra pass there. Looks to come back to the middle. Oh, yes, that's an easy one for the referee, that picture. No sweat. If the feet normally go out before the shoulders go back.
Something funky's happened in that space, yeah.
It wasn't one of those soccer ones where you fall over when someone breathes on you. Waikato, they can score here. I'd almost say momentum's back to even, and there he does. And again, referee on the spot. That's the key there. It gives credibility to the decision straight away. You see, nice and down. We'll see it again in this replay. I'm not quite, unfortunately, missed the actual put down. Good work, Waikato. They were down by 3, now only 1, scoring the last 2 touchdowns.
A lot of the tries in this game already have been scored, as you mentioned earlier, on the inside of the field. Let's see how defensively some of those changes are made, whether they need to... Oh, lots going on here. Whether they need to compress the defence and force those long passes. We'll see if those adjustments are made. We've got a penalty here for an in the ruck. So Auckland will start this one off again just in front of their 7-metre line. They can be dangerous from here. There's a sweet play to start us off.
6 again there. Yep, another one of those obvious penalties. That's been the good thing again to the referee crew. The penalties that have been called are clear and obvious. Someone who's never watched touch before would have known that would have been a penalty for some reason, rather than those ones that get called sometimes and you're thinking to yourself, didn't see that one. However, though, Auckland with a great opportunity, again, to wrestle back a little bit of momentum that swung Waikato's way. Touch was made by an onside player, but unfortunately one of the players were offside. Broadhurst just pops in, bottom of the screen. We haven't seen him yet use his long levers. Tall player. Might be here. Nice call there, nice pick up. Just not getting the body over the ball. Not sure we'll get a replay of it, but the player required to get a leg over the ball. This time just played down the side. Good set too, Harley.
Yeah, one thing people always speak about with regards to ref style, we want consistency. Well, to be fair, I think more important than that is accuracy, and we've got a team who are right on the money, right in perfect position when it comes to adjudicating this game, and accuracy is what's going to be most important. That time the set didn't quite come to the end perhaps Waikato wanted, and equally you can say that Auckland are starting to make adjustments when they see Efel Jones on the ball. They're going to make sure that they can be in the best position in order to accommodate his skill set. We've got 5th touch this time.
Fortunately or unfortunately, we haven't seen one of those touchdowns that you put the ball down before the line like we did yesterday. Definitely added a bit of amusement. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall in that debrief.
We can hear Tāko Haropati giving good directions. That's that leadership we spoke about before. How important it is to have leaders when you're under the pump defensively. Waikato now through Walters. Touch is called.
Game's been a little bit messy the last 4 sets. Auckland trying to get back to finding their rhythm. Kake, key player for this team. Oh, lovely little skip pass. Waikato now still down by 1. They have scored the last 2 touchdowns. One stage down 4-1. We were both shocked after talking about how close we thought this game would be. Just lack of focus. Disappointed with that. Now they have to defend their scoreline, giving this Auckland team a great opportunity. Kurukanga back out there. He's been dangerous, hadn't he? Had his hand on the ball. 3 of those 4 touchdowns Auckland have got so far. Again, so close, nearly scoring at the feet of the defender. Just defenders can't afford to take even an inch behind the white line.
Certainly not with Auckland in the way that they can attack in lots of different ways. Teaming up now with Ropati, looking for the out ball. Oh, play on is the call. Looked like Morris was still offside on that play. Coming to 5th touch this time. Where can Ropati throw the ball? And we come back for a penalty for offside. Advantage was played, but not quite given.
Hard enough to defend him for 1 set. Waikato now going to have to really elevate their defensive game, giving them another opportunity. Oh, they haven't cracked yet. Auckland may become frustrated here, having this many opportunities. Waikato, I think that's 2 penalties on the line, is it, so far, or just the 1?
Just the 1 so far, but we can see Auckland still throwing this a similar picture, and Waikato doing a really good job of consolidating defensively to take away these opportunities from Auckland. This time, they march forward with the ball.
The work there from Raiki Willison, once he knew how far back from the 7 Auckland were, he really got his outside player to get up, shut them down. Oh, that's an unfortunate finish. They had a real flow on there, Waikato.
I think we did call it right. This game is going to go right down to the wire. It's just kind of had sort of different flows to it. Auckland going out strong, and the momentum certainly shifted back towards Waikato in the last sort of maybe 10 or so minutes. As we approach half-time, there's still time, of course, for more points to be put on the board.
Penalty there. What's this one for?
Just not returning the ball back to the player or to the mark, so...
Looks like a voluntary roll ball signal. That'd be interesting.
Strange. Here we go, though. 30 seconds remaining. One more opportunity, we assume so, for Waikato to try and level the score before the half-time rings. They were responsible for the last try. We can see them here, Tormudi and Walters.
Other than the hit back here, Harley, go in for all. Almost as if that first half didn't happen.
And there we have it, our halftime siren has sounded. Kua tūhoki te wāhanga tuatahi o tēnei kemu. Tāmaki Makaurau, Auckland, Whā, ki te taho o Waikato, e toru ana he. We'll take a quick break and be back again for the second half. Me tonu mai.
For Bunnings Homegrown Heroes, the mahi never stops. Nominate the unsung heroes in your touch community that go above and beyond. They could win $5,000 to invest into the sport we love. Nominate today.
Kia ora touch whānau, welcome to Quick Hit, your short, sharp and touch-relevant warm-up, with the aim of warming up and moving those important body parts before kicking into activity. The Quick Hit warm-up requires minimal space, minimal time, and allows for innovation.
For Bunnings Homegrown Heroes, the mahi never stops. Nominate the unsung heroes in your touch community that go above and beyond. They could win $5,000 to invest into the sport we love. Nominate today.
He wā poto, he wā whakatā, I nai nei, ko tēnei te whiringa whaeti I te wāhanga tāne, Tāmaki Makaurau, Auckland, Whā, ki te taho o Waikato, e toru. We'll have a look at some of the try highlights from the first half. Maya, can you talk us through them?
Yeah, it was actually quite a surprise. We've seen that first one scored there by Kurukanga, and then he had his hands on the ball in the first three. See out the first one, got the next two, and Auckland just raced out to an early lead. Really surprising to see the individual breakdown from the Waikato team. A couple of times it was a slip of the foot. So, yeah, super surprising, but then Waikato, to their credit, no surprise with the experience, the skill they have in their team. Again, scoring a couple of uncharacteristic ones themselves, but getting themselves right back into this game. 4-3 halftime score. Waikato get to start us off in this one, Harley. We've seen what the teams have done starting each half so far today. I'm sure they have a plan. Everyone knows it without even speaking. I'll just implement that one here. Your expectation of the outcomes of this one, Harley?
We just experienced some awesome tries from the first half, but what also stood out to me was how important the defence was. Waikato certainly lifting their intensity defensively as the half went on, and whoever can defend the best in the second half will certainly be the one that will take home the tiakaretis and will advance to this afternoon's final. Waikato off to a hot start. We see for Jones making a dive towards the line, but the touch is made there by Tukerangi.
Yeah, one of those close calls once again. The proximity needing to be there by the ref to ensure that credibility. Almost looked like he was going to throw long, but plucked out of the air. Was it E4 Jones? Plucks him out to get them straight back in this one. 4-all Waikato v Auckland. So you didn't give me an answer. Who do you think is going to win?
I'm going to stick with Auckland. That's a pretty brave thing to say after a try
Auckland
like that. But those are really difficult tries to defend because the ball's going over the top and looping. And, of course, as we know, E4 Jones always in a really good position from that link spot. So, 4-all the current score. I'm going to sit with Tāmaki with Auckland on this one.
In the other semi-final, we have Bayapuni versus Harbour. I was really surprised with that, with the counties team missing out.
Yeah, last year's defending champs too. Won't be featured in this semi-final action this afternoon. Or
had the opportunity to call that game last year, and they were dominant. And that was against an incredible North Harbour team. But Matty Sinclair, he was just absolutely outstanding. It's like everyone was 10 times slower than him. Everything he did just turned to gold. So not to see them in there. Great to see Bayapuni back in there. Love the way they played. Be interesting to hear the results of that one. And that final will be coming up in about 4 hours' time after the conclusion of this one. Obviously, with our next broadcasted game being the under-21 mixed semi-final, then we get into the mixed open, women's open, and then the men's open, which conclude the 2025 National Championship. Auckland, though, straight down Main Street. Unfortunately, he's running hopefully he's reaching for the hamstring. Tell you
Looks
what,
quite uncomfortable here.
I never want someone to reach for the hamstring, the knee, or the Achilles. Hopefully it's a bit of cramp and no more, because he's been a key player for Auckland. Yeah, you see him there. He knew it straight away. Incredibly unfortunate. He is up on his feet, which is a good sign. Just walking his way out the back. Just by the looks of the body language, doesn't look like he's going to be taking any more part.
Really disappointing for Harry Carter, and therefore for the Auckland team, another troop down for them. They'll really have to muster deep if they want to come through this game. On the other side now, we can see Waikato really shifting up another gear. Willison now looking to the right-hand side. The opportunity's there. But yes, a great shutdown there from Auckland.
It's not just being down a player. It depends on how your team's structured too. Like if they're playing in pods, 3 lots of 3, the Auckland team, well then that's really just interrupted one of the pod. If it was less around being in pods and more just those line subs with your middles and your links, then I guess not so much. But would have had combinations that he would have been involved in, and now that's all had to change. No doubt there's been a plan B and C for these types of situations. So interesting to see the fluency, particularly on attack, for this Auckland team, with the loss of a key player. Tell you what, the way things are looking, doesn't look like too much is lost. They actually are going to get 6 again.
Wee disagreement there on the field. One of the hardest calls really to make in the game is whether to determine if the players actually made a play at the ball or not, and we can see Fern at Waikato winger disagreeing with the call, but the call is what the call is. He was up in the passing lane and interrupted the game there, and the play-on call is also given. Willison called offside. Kurukanga grabs another one for Auckland. Bunnings Warehouse replay this time. Let's have a look. This is, again, great comms from the referees just to advise the players where they should have been and where they weren't, and an easy one for Kurukanga to dot over 5-4.
Bit of gamesmanship there from Barnett. I'm sure the boys know there's some referees you don't take on. And if you slightly get into their bad books, the first course of action is to get back into those good books. So smart play there by Barnett. Looking for that phase option. Unfortunately, the dummy half wasn't there. Was probably on if there was one, but just finishing it off in that corner. Yeah, sucking a penalty out of nowhere there, that one. Just really no reason for the winger to be offside, was there, Harley? But well played by the winger for Waikato.
It was, I don't know if anyone at home could see. You can see in the background, Bailey Wardby was yelling at the players, hey, wingers offside, wingers offside. They went to that side. They didn't get the try, of course, but they got the next best outcome, which was the penalty. And sometimes that kind of leadership in the background, you can hear it, can be the difference. A little bit extra guidance out there on the field. It's how important the coaching and the sub box can be to the outcome of the game.
Talking about the background, you would have seen in earlier pitches, as there's another penalty here. That's the second one, again for offside. Nice little crowd just out the back of the touchdown line there, behind this Auckland defence. Should see it when it comes into our pitches as the ball comes towards the middle. And that will just grow over the course of this day as we get into our finals. Pivotal time of the match, isn't it, Harley? 5-4, Auckland up. They've just had a player go down. Waikato now with 3 opportunities here. Needing to get away from the... That's the third. And again, good teamwork. All our refs commed up for our finals and semi-finals on the finals field. Third player to cause a penalty infringement is removed to the sideline, meaning Auckland down to 5 until they regain possession of the ball. Waikato must score here. Third opportunity, 6v5. Surprises me when teams aren't down on this, and don't get me wrong, I would note which side of my hand to pick things up with when it comes to the coaching, but that they go for foot race plays when they're just already a natural overlap.
Auckland doing an outstanding job of covering with a player short. We spoke about that natural overlap, but it's kind of hard to tell where the overlap is, and they'll be really proud of that effort.
You see teams create overlaps on 6v6, and it looks easy. You just wonder why it's not there when it's 6v5. However, Auckland, great effort, repelled Waikato 3 sets in a row, and with 5 players in the last time. Good work, Waikato. They looked like a promising set, Harley, from Auckland, those first 3 touches. Again, went to nothing, maybe into a bit of a grind phase of the game.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is a bit of a grind phase. And in order to get out of the grind phases, big drives like this, Jones putting it on a platter for Hotham. They get a repeat set on their 7-metre line, which is a good outcome. Although we know, as we've seen, Auckland doing a really good job of defending that last set. They'll take confidence into this one that they can stop Waikato again.
Been in the knockout phase of the tournament. Obviously, you lose, you go home. That adds pressure with the scoreboard pressure, the time pressure. Now, both of these teams, while Auckland are 1 up, it'll feel like a draw, I'm sure, in both of their minds. Really surprised at the attack. Again, don't profess to know what should happen in this space, but
we can see here how tight Auckland are situated to take away some of those early options, and a big fly from the wing to take away that space from E4 Jones, but yes, it was enough. A turnover now, Auckland regain position.
If Auckland win, the last minute and 30 seconds is the reason why. They have defended brilliantly. Down 1 player initially, but the amount of sets, that's 4 sets that they've had to repel so far, and Waikato don't even look like getting across, to be honest, in those sets. Yeah, well refereed by Richie Heap. The last 3 sets that Auckland have come through, Waikato have just managed to get to the right blade of grass to get onside. I'd say touch and goes to offside. This time, Richie Heap ensuring that Auckland had every advantage that they deserve. Well done, well call, and we love play on touchdowns, don't we, Harley, rather than going back for the penalty.
Certainly my favourite type of touch, Western Tahuti. Excellent acknowledgement and probably good listening too, to identify that Jones was still offside, escaped that second reaching touch, and teams up with Broadhurst for Auckland's 6th try.
6-4, Auckland have been outstanding down this end of the field. Let's see if it can continue. I liked what we've seen there. You bring a player on like Shannon Tormudi, just that experience, a lot more direct in that play. Before it was sort of static on the 7-metre line, just going side to side, looking for a quickie here and a fake pump out the other side there. But this time, Tormudi, a lot more direct.
And direct in the right way as well. It was heads-up play. He saw that Ropati had shifted towards the middle of the field, and then they had pushed the ball to the left-hand wing, who had chopped on the inside of his opposite wing. So those are very difficult kinds of plays to defend, and it's that kind of magic that Waikato need to stay in the hunt in this game. Touch is called. Still a few touches up their sleeve. Auckland will centralise their attack this time through Tata Masumi. Looking to the left, there's some space. Kake steps back inside, but well defended there by Waikato.
Excellent first drive from Morris. Oh, Morris, number 1. Great work here. Waikato, this is a really, really good set so far. I think they'll probably be a lot better coming off a more direct setup. Yeah, well done. It's really, really different, right? We talked about this in previous games. Some teams look a lot better being able to attack off the end of their rucking pattern versus getting a new set on the line and being very lateral. Nice set. Hotham, fantastic on the scoop. We've seen a little late cut. I thought it might have taken away the numbers, but sat on the scoreline and dots on down there to get it back to 6-all.
And the key to that was just direct running. Avion Jones running to the right spots with intention, and then Hotham teaming up with E4 Jones to finish that one off. We're back to 6-all. I think the drop-off committee are also getting prepared. Excellent defence here from Waikato to lift off the line. Last touch this time.
Drop-off committee just staying quiet every time we sort of raise our heads, you know. Start to get excited. The rug's pulled out from under us. Co-president of the drop-off committee, Dan, and from the stream shot. We've got him here in the house as well. One of the referees just getting a better view of the ground. Again, a nice opportunity for Waikato, just hopefully keeping that momentum. Auckland smart there. Tormudi, he set up that one that they really needed just before, and he gets on again. He's showing his hand. He needs to be out there. He's been the difference for Waikato in this last 4 minutes. The directness, he's been making defensive players make decisions, so then he can go to the option that presents itself as opposed to dancing on the 7-metre line. So fantastic work there from Tormudi.
That's right, and he made it difficult because he was still at the dummy half position when the Auckland player followed. That created the space that was enough for Walters to secure that next try. 3 tries in a row now for Waikato.
Interesting to see how Auckland are going to handle this. Been in the lead for the majority of the game. But Waikato now getting up by 1 at the crucial end. 6 minutes to go. Heap of time. But again, that scoreboard pressure, the time pressure, you lose this, you're probably not sticking around to watch the next one. Oh, well
Class.
set up. Excellent work. Another fantastic proximity from the referee. All day, that was a try. The defender in no way, shape or form being able to get back onside. Auckland do this really well. Dummy half getting in front of the planter so that the planter's never having to shift backwards or sideways. He can keep his momentum going forward. And the skills that these players have to be able to catch a ball a metre off the ground, and in a blink of an eye, it's on the ground, isn't it, Harry?
And we spoke about how there's certain individual players who can make something out of nothing, and Tukarangi Roots is another one who's just got those long limbs. He can dive from a long way out. 7 tries apiece here. What a game we've got. Not very long to go.
Puipi's awesome, isn't he, in terms of he just never dies with the ball. It never just goes to him. He takes the touch, does a roll. He's always creating something. A winger that defends him might think, okay, this play's gone dead, but it's never dead with Puipi. Look to create numbers. Offside play by Broadhurst. Waikato now, bit of a line change. It's heating up, Harley. I'm not talking about the temperature, although cloud has shifted. We can see there's a lot more sunlight, sunshine, sun rays on this field. Waikato, what can they do? Not really going too much in that one. Second penalty. Tell you what, you're better to listen to referee Dusto than think that you're right and he's wrong.
That goes for any of the referees on the field in this game. But again, similar situation. Auckland 2 penalties on the line. They'll be cautious about another one. Oh, and an error on the roll ball. Waikato will not like that one. You want to get those fundamentals right. We've seen that a few times in today's game, actually.
Yeah. And again, you talked about it. You want your refs to be consistent, but even more importantly, accurate. And this trio been fantastic so far. And that's what these two teams deserve. Two of the best in the country. 7-all. Hardly anything in it, momentum-wise now. Big chase out. Puipi got that one easily sorted. Jones out there as well. Good defensive set for Waikato. Who's going to flinch first? That's really what it is now, isn't it, Harley? Both teams are going to go hard through the orange zone. Throw everything they got at the end of the set. Puipi's just going to throw his speed. Tell you what, referee Dusto used to be a police officer. He normally gives someone a ticket when they're going that fast. Puipi Look at this. Just off the yards. Was dummy half on the previous touch.
And it's those little lapses in concentration when they're retiring defensively. He had shoulders turned. Lack of comms between the Auckland defenders on the left side and created that amazing gap there that Poihipi took full advantage of. Still time, of course, and still plenty to play for. Despite being down 1, Auckland will look to strike back here.
And you see it all the time with the teams where their Mitch is involved in, because he's so calm. He's seen it all before. He knows there's always a way and there's always enough time to get back into it because he's so calm. His sub-boxes are so calm with him. Just having a leader like that, such a positive benefit for Waikato teams.
Big screams coming from the Auckland sub-box. And the referees have identified as well 7 players on that attacking play from Waikato.
Mental error, isn't it, Harley? And that's the pressure too. Like, it's easy to count to 6, you'd think. There's no reason. They all play in pods, one off, one on. Who's the next link in line, etc. There's no excuse for that one. So a mental lapse, probably the pressure.
And you would hate for that to cost your team, especially in a game as enormous in gravity as this one. But, of course, still down 1 at the moment. Auckland need one more try to peg back. Gamesmanship starting to creep in. Only 90 seconds remaining in the game.
Not sure what's actually happened, but the penalty count has gone through the roof. First 8 minutes, I think we might have had 3. In the last 3 minutes, we might have had 8. They do that so well. It's the play they've got. They've actually got E4 a few times, unfortunately. Just getting them up, getting to the outside and beating them to the line. We see them do it again here. Just almost that old school, get him behind the defender, put him on your back hip so he can't get back to the line.
Yeah, that's right. And what was clever about that is that they forced the short side to shut. And it either creates the overlap, but when you've got a player like Tatui Mua, Tuta, who can create his own space and get nice and low to the ground, we see now Waikato looking to be dangerous, although there's a lot of pointing going on. A few big claims here.
I could see why he was asked there. His body language was not giving me the confidence that you thought that he had made the touch.
Okay, less than 30 seconds now. Here we go.
The anticipation is more in the hope that this finishes a draw than who's going to win this one. Hotham, though, using his speed to create space.
Touches the goal.
Woo-hoo-hoo. I wonder if we get a replay from the in goal to see how close that was at some stage. 6 seconds now. There's the hooter. Do we have our first drop-off, which feels like a millennium? We do. Not sure if we'll get an opportunity to see that replay. That was so close. We do. Here it is. How close was it? Here's a toucher coming across. Ooh! Even in slow motion, that's too close to call. Do we get another look at this one? Harley, I'd love to see you put your referee prowess into it. Here it is again. We see it. We're going to get it slowed down for us here. Is it ball down or is it a touch? Simultaneous.
30 seconds.
Great work there. I tell you what, this is why they are the best, these 3 referees. Not only do you have to be in right proximity, you need to have, what's better than 20/20 vision? Is 30/30 or does that not make sense? I'm not sure, but he got the call right. We've got a drop off, and the only person happier than me is Dan from the stream shop. Not sure the camera boys are. They'd love to have a rest.
Now, from memory, it is Waikato that'll start off this drop-off. For those at home, maybe less familiar with the formalities of the drop-off, we start 4 versus 4. We play for a period of 2 minutes. The winner, if there is one after 2 minutes, will advance to the final. If the scores are still tied after the 2-minute period, we'll go 3-on-3. Some very dangerous players on the field, none more so than E4 Jones.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's been the best game for him so far, but when it counts, he steps up. And again, using the strength that we talked about at the start of the game, off his left, off his right, and he nearly collects the defender in the head with the kick too. So 1-0. I'm sure that pressure has just increased for Auckland. But again, so much space. So hard to defend. You wonder how you can defend 50 metres with 6 people, let alone 4 people. Last touch, this will go into a foot race with a potential late cut. That's a big set there from Waikato. Auckland now going to have to defend this. We don't see the time, unfortunately, up on the clock to know how much time we got left. The hooter was to go off at this stage, as you said, Harley.
Yeah, that's right. 40 seconds is the current call. Waikato in the prime position to close this one off. All they need to do is look after the ball. Here we go. Pick coming through from Jones. Back to Jones, who's going to look for some space on the outside. And touches the call. Not very long to go. Auckland will need to motor it down the other end of the field and will probably need all the space and maybe a bit of luck that they can get.
Yep, they're going to have to go on this one, or if not this one, the next. They definitely won't get 3, I don't think. Going to have to do it here. Is this it? Down the sideline. Oh, so close. What a game. That's why we want to drop off. Just for that reason, it should be. Can't wait till Touch New Zealand make sure that there's a drop-off at the end of every game so we can see the best part of Touch.
Ai ka nui tērā. Rere kau atu nā mihi ki nā tima e rua. Ko tākura hia I tēnei kēmu. Ko te toa I tēnei kēmu ko Waikato iwa. Tāmaki Makaurau, Auckland, ki te waru. We'll see Waikato taking on, well, to be confirmed, in the men's final later on at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Nō reira e te iwi. You can catch more of that action very shortly. Up next, we've got the 21 mixed grand final between Canterbury and Counties Manukau, followed on by the open mixed final, North Harbour Counties Manukau, open women's at 3 o'clock, Waikato versus North Harbour. And then our final game, which will be the big one between Waikato and, I guess we'll figure out very shortly who their competition will be, either Bay of Plenty or North Harbour. Nō reira e te iwi. Me mau tonu mai, e whai ake nei he kēmua no, he whiringa toa, tuatahi o tēnei weekend e nō reira me tonu mai.